When you look at rule number one, whether you're going up or down, okay, it's right there in the wording, rule, right? Rule number one, 1A, right? Number, okay. Rule number one, basically, they're trying to rule over me. That's their first rule. They failed when they failed to rule over me. Now, when we look at this thing, it also refers to rule number one is the alpha is supposed to be in charge. So if you want to serve God, rule number one is you must obey this guy. If you don't do that, you don't pass anywhere, you serve the devil. There's a big contrast between the two. When you consider that the enemy is trying to rule over me, okay, you know, just like in the Bible where Jesus is tempted by the devil and he wants him to pay homage, in other words, to let him rule over him to some degree, one way or another, symbolically or otherwise, okay. When they're trying to rule over me, how much more must one obey and defy that idea? So there's this huge difference between those who serve God and those who don't. Obviously, people who don't understand that are sick in the head, okay, and certainly breeding has something to do with that. All right. So rule number one in the mentally disturbed and obviously unfairly seizing power, being unfair. Okay, so who does seize power? Obviously people who are mentally disturbed. Who wants to join them in the ruling class but people who are mentally disturbed? Are you then surprised that when in Beverly Hills and in Hollywood and in Malibu, the Hamptons, all these places where rich people live who are in the Hollywood network, who eat at the same places as these Hollywood occultists, you know, these rich tech guys and all these stuff, these rich people who pay Hollywood actresses to have sex with them, you know, these people in the porn industry that turn out women trying to be Hollywood actresses, sometimes they make it like J-Lo and so on and so forth. Okay, you know, are you surprised that they're worship the devil? So the American dream for most people is to become rich and join this class of people that worships the devil and team up with occultists to stick their nose up at everyone. I mean, it's that simple. Okay, they're evil. Okay, the rich are evil. They openly play allegiance to the devil more often than not. If you're paying attention, right? Is it so hidden in plain view? No. You can tell by their cocky manner. You can tell by their emphasis on material goods. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you should buy a Lamborghini and be like Mayweather, buy a bunch of sports cars. What for? So you can fucking drive a different sports car every day while people are starving to death, while your people are being disenfranchised, and go on and on about why it's wrong. You all know it's wrong. Okay, these people are sick. And for attractive women to throw themselves at these people, they must be sick as well. For attractive women to be part of their infrastructure, they must be sick as well. Speaking of infrastructure, these people went around the world, these rich ninnies, influenced their governments, took over these societies. They planted cultures there, sex cultures, cultures that are friendly to the West. More often than not, you know them by the fact that they're in the Western tradition. Okay. Then they worked with the tribal groups and the cults and the secret societies that were there, the different social groups who were more favorable and more compatible with their points of view. They then made sure that everything was going their way before they left. Colonialism is like a boss going to his work, his satanic workplace, and making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do and leaving, right? He's like corporate coming around once in a while, making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, that's all that was. Okay, there is no country that is free in the world. There's just corporate sex cult slaves. Okay, and there's a lot of these people. There's millions and millions of these people doing this in various countries all over the world, and they put a special emphasis on controlling the attractive women, the trophy wives. Rome wasn't built in a day, they say. And the trophy wives are part of what the credit they want, right? They want their credit. They want the trophy. They want the trophy wife. Masonry is about controlling the trophy wives, first and foremost. King Solomon's temple, how many wives? How many concubines? He had like 200 concubines and 600 wives or something like this. Okay. The martial art hero, when using insight and righteous indignation, is obviously the person that should lead. There's no viable counter argument to this. You want a corrupt politician because he went to Stanford? You want George Bush to be the president again because he went to Stanford? Point of reference, George Bush, piece of shit, okay? Top martial artist, point of reference, okay? His knowledge and his degree mean nothing. He's not morally qualified to lead. All it takes to be qualified to lead is to truly be morally qualified. And the only way to truly be morally qualified is to be in the divine order. The only way to truly be a valid leader is for the top martial artist to put you in a position of leadership. Ownership and leadership are therefore connected. Ownership. God owns the top martial arts. This is his son. He put his son there to lead over anybody who wants to go to heaven. It's that simple. The martial art hero, when using insight and righteous indignation, is obviously the person that should lead. The guy who's actually a hero in the divine order, who got there by cultivating righteous indignation, focusing and saying, I'm going to practice in a way, I'm going to picture the people who are actually villains, not disenfranchised people who my network has given drugs and made desperate, and they lash out and rob a liquor store, and I come, freeze, right? Feeling like I'm doing something, feeling like I'm the good guy solving a crime, when you're really just a criminal, the worst criminal, an organized scientific racist criminal who's teamed up with scientists and philosophers and fraternal organizations to create the problem so you can come off as the good guy. Utterly despicable. The prince of darkness, trying to be a total gentleman at best. Okay, just garbage. We even have the Scorpion King point of reference. Was he a scientist? Was he in a secret society in the movie? Or was he simply a martial art hero, was the idea, who's rising to the occasion and taking his rightful place as the person in charge? The idea is sound. The Scorpion King was a piece of shit. Okay, the fucking knucklehead wrestler is the wrong person to use. However, the idea of a martial art hero taking his rightful place and getting the admiration of the most desirable female in the movie, obviously, is a sound idea. How can the top martial artist not have the admiration of the most attractive women? How could they hesitate to date them unless society is run by sex cult demons and females aren't free? How can you have sovereignty over your body if you're shunning the top martial artist? If every attractive female is shunning the top martial artist, do attractive females have sovereignty over their body in a country of over 300 million people? No. No fucking way. If he dies without leaving a seed, will they ever? No. They'll be too crazy to have sovereignty. Who are we talking about? Them when you've made them crazy? Now that you're crazy and drugged up and we've given you a bunch of sugars, who do you want to have sex with? Now that we made you fucking cowards and we've drugged you up, which one of us rape cult bitches, do you want to? It's fucking stupid.